If you're new here, don't forget to hit subscribe, like this video, and share it with fellow ARMYs, because what you're about to hear might be one of the most emotional pre-concert moments in BTS history. The energy in Tampa was already explosive long before the lights went down at Raymond James Stadium. Tens of thousands of fans, ARMY from across the United States, had filled every seat, every aisle, every corner of the venue. Outside, crowds were still gathering, chanting BTS's name, waving light sticks that turned the entire city into a glowing ocean of purple. This wasn't just another concert night. This was an event, a moment, a memory in the making. But while the stadium roared with anticipation, something very different was happening backstage. Just 30 minutes before the show began, Jin, often known for his humor, confidence, and effortless charisma, wasn't joking around. He wasn't rehearsing lines or adjusting his outfit. Instead, Jin gathered Jungkook and the other BTS members into a quiet circle. No cameras, no stage lights, no crowd noise. Just the 7 of them standing close together in a moment that felt deeply personal and unexpectedly powerful. According to staff reports and insiders who witnessed the moment, Jin initiated something simple but incredibly meaningful. He asked the members to pause and pray together. Yes, Jin, the global superstar, standing backstage in one of the biggest stadiums in America, leading BTS in a quiet moment of reflection before stepping out in front of tens of thousands of fans. Jungkook, often described as the emotional core of the group, reportedly stood right beside Jin, head slightly bowed. The usual playful energy between Jin and Jungkook was replaced with something deeper, something grounded. The other members followed, forming a tight circle, hands lightly connected, eyes closed. For a group that has spent years under relentless global pressure, this moment wasn't about performance. It wasn't about perfection. It was about grounding themselves, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, before facing one of the biggest crowds of their tour. And what's even more striking, the atmosphere backstage reportedly shifted completely. Staff members who had been rushing around suddenly slowed down. Conversations stopped. The noise faded. It was as if the entire backstage area instinctively respected what was happening in that moment. No one interrupted. No one spoke. Even those who weren't part of the circle could feel it. Something calm, something powerful, something real. This wasn't scripted. This wasn't for publicity. This was Jin taking the lead in a way fans don't always get to see. And when the story started circulating online, ARMY's reaction was immediate. Social media exploded with emotional responses. Fans described the moment as chilling, beautiful, and deeply human. Many were surprised, not because BTS hadn't shown sincerity before, but because this moment revealed a quieter side of their bond. One fan wrote, "We always see Jin making us laugh, but this shows how much he carries behind the scenes." Another added, "Jungkook standing next to Jin during that moment says everything. They trust each other in ways we don't always see." Media outlets in the US also picked up the story, highlighting how unusual and impactful this moment was in the world of high-energy stadium concerts. In an industry often driven by spectacle and performance, BTS reminded everyone that connection still matters. And then came the show. When BTS finally stepped onto the stage, something felt different. The energy wasn't just loud, it was focused. Their movements were sharper. Their vocals carried a kind of emotional clarity that fans immediately noticed. Jin in particular seemed more centered, more intense in his performance. And Jungkook, his expressions, his stage presence, it all felt amplified, as if that quiet moment backstage had unlocked something deeper. Fans in the audience later described the performance as one of the most emotional nights of the tour. Some even said they could feel a shift from the very first song. Was it because of that prayer? No one can say for certain, but what's clear is this: something about that moment stayed with them and carried onto the stage. This is what makes BTS different. It's not just the music. It's not just the choreography. It's not even just the global fame. It's these moments, the unseen, unplanned, deeply human moments that define who they are as a group. Jin stepping up not as the worldwide handsome entertainer, but as someone grounding his team before a massive performance. Jungkook standing beside him, not as the golden maknae performing flawlessly, but as a person sharing a quiet, sincere moment with his Hyung. Together with the rest of BTS, forming a circle not as idols, but as individuals who rely on each other when it matters most. And maybe that's why this story hit so hard, because in a world of full, the story doesn't end there. Because what happened after that quiet circle may be even more surprising. As BTS broke from their prayer, there was no dramatic applause, no loud reactions, just a quiet understanding between Jin, Jungkook, and the rest of the members. According to Backstage staff, Jin gave a small nod, almost like a signal. It wasn't theatrical, it wasn't exaggerated, it was subtle, but it carried weight. The kind of gesture that says, "We're ready." Jungkook reportedly exhaled deeply right after, rolling his shoulders as if releasing tension he had been holding in for hours. This detail might seem small, but for fans who have followed Jungkook's journey, the pressure, the expectations, the constant spotlight, it spoke volumes. In that moment, he wasn't just preparing physically, he was resetting mentally, and then, almost instantly, the atmosphere shifted again. Managers began moving quickly, in-ear monitors were checked, final wardrobe adjustments were made, the countdown had officially begun. 10 minutes, someone called out. The silence that once filled the space was now replaced with controlled urgency, but something had changed. The tension felt lighter, the focus felt sharper. Jin, once again stepping into his familiar role, reportedly cracked a small joke, just enough to break the remaining stiffness. It wasn't loud, it wasn't over the top, but it made Jungkook smile, and that smile, fans later said it showed during the opening performance, because when the lights finally dropped inside Raymond James Stadium, the explosion of sound was almost unreal. Army screamed, the stadium shook, purple lights flooded the darkness like a wave crashing all at once. And right there, at the center of it all, Jin and Jungkook stepped forward with a presence that felt different from previous shows. Observers noted that Jin's opening lines carried a steadiness that immediately set the tone. His voice wasn't just strong, it was controlled, grounded, almost deliberate in a way that drew the audience in. Meanwhile, Jungkook's entrance was electric, but not chaotic. There was precision in every move, every note, every glance toward the crowd. It was as if that 30-minute pre-show moment had aligned something internally, and fans noticed. Clips from the concert quickly went viral across TikTok, X, and Instagram. One particular video, zooming in on Jin during the first chorus, sparked massive discussion. "He looks so focused," one user commented. "This feels different." Another added, "You can tell something happened before the show, in a good way." Even US-based entertainment commentators began picking up on the narrative. Some described the Tampa concert as unexpectedly emotional, highlighting how BTS managed to balance high-energy performance with moments of genuine vulnerability. And then came one of the most talked about parts of the night. Midway through the concert, during a brief Met segment, Jin paused longer than usual before speaking. The crowd, already loud, gradually softened, as if sensing something. Jin looked out at the sea of army, then glanced briefly toward Jungkook. It wasn't dramatic, it wasn't staged, but it was noticeable. He smiled and simply said, "Tonight feels special." That was it. No long speech, no elaborate explanation, but for fans who already knew about the backstage moment, those words hit differently because suddenly everything connected. The prayer, the silence, the focus, the performance. It wasn't just another concert, it was a night shaped by something deeper. Jungkook, standing nearby, nodded slightly as Jin spoke, and in that small exchange, fans saw something they often talk about, but rarely witness so clearly: trust. A quiet, unspoken understanding between two artists who have grown together under extraordinary circumstances. As the concert moved into its final stages, the energy only intensified. Fireworks lit up the Tampa sky, echoing the excitement of the crowd below. Every song felt bigger, louder, more alive. But beneath all of it, there was still that undercurrent, that sense of connection that started backstage. And when the final note rang out, there was a brief moment, just a split second, where everything seemed to pause. The crowd roared, of course, the lights flashed, the members waved and thanked fans. But if you watched closely, you could see Jin take a small breath, placing his hand briefly over his chest before bowing. Some fans caught it, some didn't. But for those who did, it felt like a quiet callback to where the night truly began. Backstage, in silence, in a circle, in a moment that no one was supposed to see, but somehow everyone felt. And now, as clips continue to circulate and fans piece together the story from different angles, one thing is becoming clear. This wasn't just about a prayer, it was about preparation, not just for a performance, but for the emotional weight that comes with it. It was about leadership, Jin stepping forward in a way that